We've also been taught not to gain power, when in reality, power is the thing that will help set us free. Welcome to the Trill MBA Show, the career management podcast teaching Black women how to become unstoppable at work. I'm Felicia Ann Rose Anuha, aka the Trillest MBA, delivering the inspiring truth through strategies and tactics so you feel protected, confident, and ready to conquer your career. All right, y'all, welcome back. I'm so excited that you came back. We are on the second part of the series that I'm doing, 7 Rules of Power. This book is by Professor Jeffrey Pfeffer. He's at Stanford. This is what he studies. He's got all the science to back it up, girl. So don't just listen to me. Don't just take my word for it. Get this book. But last episode, we talked about getting out of our own way. So that was last week. So now today, we are diving into rule number 2. Break all the rules, girl. And we are going to break this down first. Because at first blush, you like, me, she, her, break rules? What? Yes, girl. We're going to have to break some rules. And some of these societal norms got to go if we going to amass power. And I already know you done clutched your pearls. And that's okay. But listen, if you've been playing by the book and you still feel like you're just in survival mode, you're not thriving, you're not at peace, you don't have joy in your career, you're just going through the motions, then it's time to shake some things up. Now, Jeffrey Pfeffer, he makes it plain. The people who rise don't always follow the rules. They strategically break them. But let's be real, right? Like, most of us have been trained to follow the rules. We've been told to work hard, let your work speak for itself, keep your head down, outwork them. That's what we've been told. Just outwork them. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I didn't try that. You can work. That ain't it. The reality, the people who get ahead don't wait. They don't follow the rules. They don't wait their turn. They don't wait to be patient. They take action. So today we're going to unpack why breaking the rules works and what it looks like in practice, especially for us, and how you can start making moves that put you ahead. So let's get into it. First, we got to talk about why following the rules doesn't lead to power, based on what Jeffrey Pfeffer has talked about in his book. That's the first thing we got to talk about. Power doesn't reward compliance. It rewards confidence. So people assume rule breakers must have power, or else they wouldn't have dared to break the rules in the first place. So actually breaking rules is a sign that you have the power to do so. Ever heard that phrase, don't ask for permission, ask for forgiveness? That should be your mantra going forward. There's an example of Christina Trontino. I'm probably butchering her name. I'm sorry. But let's just talk about Christina. My girl was a business student. She went to Sundance. She emailed these people talking about she worked for Forbes because she get an invite to this exclusive event at Sundance. And she didn't wait for permission. She took a chance. She strategically broke norms. She just positioned herself among the most influential people, and she believed she belonged. And she got the courage to do this from taking Dr. Pfeffer's class. But the key takeaway from her story in this book is that rule breaking works because, one, it surprises people. You know how we look at people and they do something, you're like, the audacity. Yes, girl, have audacity. Be Delulu. That's what rule breaking is all about. And what happens is when you do that, when you surprise people, you shift the power dynamics. So the person that normally would be there to say no, they didn't even see you coming. So they don't know what to say because they're not sure what to do. And also, they don't even know who you are. And they don't know if they're going to get in trouble if they tell you no. Plus, naturally, human beings don't like to tell people no. And human beings don't like to be confrontational. Use these tidbits about human behavior in your favor as you're deciding which rules to break. And the funniest thing is, because they don't know and you've surprised them, they're now forced to take you seriously. Because again, they don't know. We're going to take a quick break, but I want you to reflect on the following. Have you ever held back from making a bold move because you were waiting your turn? What happened? Let me know in the comments under this video. Or if you're listening to the podcast on audio, hit us up in the comments of your favorite podcast player and let us know what held you back from making a bold move. We want to know your story. As you do that, we're going to take a quick break to pay some bills. We'll be back. Hey guys. So we're just beginning the new season. We're off to a running start, but we have digital tools that accompany each episode to help you work through some of the tactics and strategies that you need to put into place so that you're thriving at work. So go to TrillMBA.com, and if you haven't already, sign up for our freebies and you'll get access to not only these digital tools that go with these episodes, but you'll also get access to every digital tool I've ever created that's free to you to help you in your career. Now, let's get back to the show. All right, guys, we are back. Now, one thing you need to understand, before you go breaking the rules, let's talk about what this looks like. Because you can't go to work flipping tables. Okay, let's be clear. Breaking the rules isn't about being reckless. It's about being strategic. Okay? So we got to think through some things. You got to have some purpose in breaking the rules. It's not just about being bold for the sake of boldness. It's about being seen as powerful. Research shows that people who defy norms, that they take initiative and they don't wait their turn or they don't stay in their lane, those people are automatically perceived to have more influence. They also differentiate themselves from the rest of the pack that they're in. That's why breaking the rules works. Before you can break the rules, though, you have to first understand them. So pay attention. The key to successful rule breaking is knowing exactly what you're up against. That's why you'll see in your workbook, there's a section there to help you recognize what are the norms in your workplace before you go breaking them. So you want to take note of two things. One, the written rules. If you don't already have your employee handbook downloaded somewhere in your personal files, I need you to do that because those are the written rules and you need to read your employee handbook. I know sometimes we just get caught up, we get started and we don't go through all the things. You want to know the rules better than everybody else. And it starts with what's written. Then you want to observe, second thing, the unwritten rules. And what are unwritten rules? Well, I'll give you an example. One of the unwritten rules when I was junior in my marketing career was that the most junior person in the room gives feedback to the agencies first. Whenever we were in a meeting and agencies had delivered creative to us, and we had to evaluate the creative. So one of the ways that you learned as a junior person is you had to give your feedback first. You had to bring your point of view to the table and you had to go first. I mean, literally, I would have the senior person in the room say, okay, Felicia, you go. Okay, ABM, you go first. it was not a knock against me. It's just the way things worked, right? It was an unspoken rule. And we say unspoken, but it was spoken to me to my face. And so you got to understand that. But then you understand, why do they do that? And is that a rule you should break? So breaking that rule would mean that after the most senior person in the room would give their final feedback, you would come in and chime in and say something additional. That would be breaking a rule. I would say if you are going to break an unspoken rule like that, understand why. Why are you breaking that rule? Let's say you thought of something as you heard all the different rounds of feedback, and you thought of an additional piece of idea that maybe we all need to think about as we're going to produce this commercial or put this creative out into the world that's representative of our company and our brand. And you think of something. I want you to simply raise your hand and say, I have a question. And whatever you think of, ask the question. Don't come in with more feedback in that situation, but just ask the room the question and make them think about it. Let your boss have the glory, or your boss's boss have the glory, and they'll have the final say about what you said. But you know, if you own your stuff, that your question is not only just legitimate, but something we really need to think about. It could be a watch out. It could be a caution, but just ask the question. So you use questions in that way, but you've definitely broken a rule. But in that rule breaking, you've shown yourself to be a leader because you put the business first. So that's a great example of a way to do that. So if you're ever in a meeting and it's dominated by senior leaders and you're a junior employee, speak up, observe, and then act, i.e. speak. Now, the next thing you want to think about is breaking small rules first to test the waters. So maybe there's a rule that, and this is if you're a junior person, that you can't talk to the CEO or you can't talk to the C-suite. Break the rule. Email the CEO, email the CFO, or if you're in marketing, email the CMO, like whatever your function is, and say, hey, and this is a great time to do this, is when you're like still within your 90 days. Hey, I'm new to the company. I've been here about 90 days or 60 days or 30 days. I've heard so many great things about you. I'd love it if we could possibly have a coffee chat. I'd like to learn more about you and the overarching strategy and goal for this year as I'm ramping up and learning more about the business. Child, listen, do it. It won't hurt you. It'll only help you. If you get your hand slapped, say, oh, I didn't know. And let's say you've been at the company a long time, still do it. Say, hey, I've been here 10 years and we don't get to interact much, but you have this strategy. I've seen what this has done. I've seen the good. I've seen the opportunity areas, and I'd love to have the conversation with you to understand your perspective from where you sit. It's a perspective that doesn't always come all the way down the chain. Treat them as human beings, act as a leader, make that connection. So it's not a big risk. I know sometimes some companies make it seem like super risky to talk to senior leaders, and the senior leaders actually won't talk to you. They don't even know that all these people in the middle are discouraging other employees not to talk to them. So if you see that this person is open and they're speaking with all the people after the town hall meetings and all this stuff, go up and talk to them. That's something small. Go up and introduce yourself. Hi, my name's Felicia. I work in this department. I'm working on this project. If you have some time, if you can carve out some time, I'd love to have a coffee chat with you. I'd love to learn more about your journey and your work here and, you know, the overarching strategy that I may not get full visibility to. I'd love to hear about your vision for the upcoming, year and the 5-year horizon. But see, when you do these things, you have to know the business. So don't forget that. Know your stuff. I'm talking to you as if you know your stuff. Okay. My baseline expectation of you is that you know your stuff. Everything I'm telling you now is icing on your cake. This gets you from surviving to thriving. Okay. And again, ask for Forgiveness, not permission. Don't ask for permission to do anything. Just go do it. And we get this from research. Research shows that people are conflict averse. Most of the time, they won't even confront you when you took a bold action. And if you move fast enough and you make a decision, people will just assume you had the authority to do it anyway. They'll be like, oh. And they might say, oh, I don't know who she thinks she is. But hey, if you know your stuff, get it done, make it happen, what they gonna do? If it succeeds, people won't even remember. They won't even remember that you broke any rules. And in fact, they'll congratulate you for making it happen. The other thing that you got to understand about rule breaking is the surprise that gives you power. Most people follow the rules. So when you break them, people don't know what to do with that. They're like, huh? And that moment of surprise, that's where the power is. Because it forces people to process this new dynamic of, oh, I didn't know we could do that. So we're going to take a break. And when we get back, we're going to talk about the real world application of breaking rules when we get back. Hey guys, I am so excited that you are here watching this series on power. Please share this with your friends. This information is so crucial to you having a career that brings you peace and joy and ease in life. It truly is a game changer to gain and use power in your career management strategy. So follow along. These next episodes are all about Dr. Pfeffer's book, The 7 Rules of Power. You don't want to miss it. I have digital guides. Go to TrillMBA.com and sign up for our freebies. And there you will find all of the resources I've created over the years and the digital guides that go along with these episodes. Now let's get back to the show. And we are back. So one of the things that came back to my memory as I was reading this book was I was working with a client one time, and, you know, she was very much a rule follower, would not, like, we don't break rules. And I kept telling her, you are going to have to build your relationship wall. Meaning you are going to have to build relationships outside of your manager. The problem was her manager was a micromanager and insecure. And so her manager didn't want her talking to his boss. He didn't want her talking with his peers even, right? Or having meetings that he didn't know about. And so I told her, I said, this keeps you isolated. And it's easier for him to control your narrative when no one else has interactions with you but him. So you are going to have to break this rule that he has created. And you're going to have to start setting up coffee chat meetings with these people. So what I told her to do is set up the meeting, make sure you're on the calendar and you've had the meeting. And right before you go into meeting, I want you to send him an email saying, oh, hey, I want to let you know I'm meeting with your manager, whatever that person's name is. And we're just going to discuss the following things. It's more of a get to know and a mentoring session. I'll let you know if there's anything pertinent that you need to know coming out of my time with XYZ. There's nothing they can do about it. You've caught them by surprise. You broke the rule. What are they going to say? Are they really going to tell you, do not ever do that again? No. And if they do, then you say, help me understand why you don't want me to meet with your manager. And then whatever they say, well, how does that person feel about that? Do they know that? Because when I met with them, it was a great interaction. This is what happened. And you continue to defy that rule. That's a rule you must break. If your manager has that rule, like, you can't talk to my boss, baby, let me tell you, no, defy that rule every time. Do not let your manager put you on an island of isolation, because guess what? That's the first way how your name gets on a list on chopping blocks. So do what you got to do, surprise them. And you literally can take this advice like today. So if you have never met with your boss's boss, I need you to get 30 minutes on the calendar. I need you to have an about me slide. I need you to introduce yourself, and I need you to let them know that you like it, this organization, how I've been here this long. These are some of my wins. And here's what I would like to do in my career going forward. I would really appreciate your advice and counsel. And how else can I help you? Are there things that you don't quite have visibility into that you want me to share my POV on? I'm happy to do that. Get your manager out of the way. That is very important. A good manager has no problem with you talking with their boss. Y'all are all just coworkers. This hierarchy thing is not real. It is just to keep organization. That's it. It's not to be taken as some type of caste system. And you can't talk to them over there. Those are human beings, honey. They got to put their pants on one leg at a time. And they definitely got to go to the bathroom every day. Because if they don't, they're going to be in the hospital too. Okay? So do not sit there and think that these people are untouchable. They're not. They're just human beings. And you are too. And you remember that. And if that's a rule that you need to break it, and break it every time, and break it well. Now, I want you to identify one rule at work that's holding you back, or you feel like that's holding you back. And I want you to challenge yourself this week. So if that's, feeling like you can't speak up in a meeting, like there's some unspoken rule that, you're just supposed to sit in the corner and send out the recap. I want you to challenge that. I want you to add the value you add out loud. Okay. So just identify one rule and let's get after it. And in the chat below, I want you to tell me what that one rule is that you're going to break this week. I want to hear from you. I want to know. And if there's a way I can help you, have any questions, ask in the chat. Okay. Now, you don't get ahead by sitting back and hoping someone will tap you on the shoulder. You don't gain power that way either. You don't manage your career by being passive. You have to make your own opportunities. So this week, I want you to find one workplace rule that's slowing you down and ask yourself, not just what's holding you back, but if I push back, what would happen? And so your next steps, hopefully you've already downloaded the worksheet that goes with this episode. If not, there's a link in the show notes for you to access that. You have to sign up for our freebies, and you'll have access to all of the tools that I've created over the course of the 9 seasons of this show. And I'll walk you through identifying which rules to break and how to do it strategically in this worksheet. Then I want you to join me live on YouTube for the Q&A. I'm going to go live on social, and you guys can ask me questions, and we can get into it, and we can workshop and troubleshoot some things. So bring your questions, bring your wins, and let's talk about it. So once you sign up to get the worksheet, you'll also get emails that'll give you links to the live when we go live later this week. Now, the other thing I need you to do, I need you to share this episode. Do not gatekeep this information. We are going to go deeper. We're 2 of 7 rules. So if you just caught this, you're at the beginning, girl. You're right here. You can go watch last week's episode, catch up real quick, do your homework, join us for the live, ask your questions. Girl, you're right here. You're right where you're supposed to be. Okay? So I'll see you next time as we break down how to command presence and project power in any room. Until then, keep it trill. Well, guys, that's a wrap on another great episode of the Career Management Podcast for Black women. Yes, girl, this show is just for you. We're here to tell you how to play that chessboard at work, girl. So subscribe, comment, like, follow us on social media at Trill MBA Show. Listen, Every time you tell one of your friends, you share this information, you share this podcast, it helps us to grow and make even more dope content just for you, unapologetically. That's why we're here. Now, if you are facing a workplace dilemma, such as a performance improvement plan, or you're not able to secure your promotion and raise that you have worked for and you have deserved, basically, if these people are playing in your face, we are here to help. Go to trillmba.com/coaching to schedule a one-time one-on-one call to workshop your specific dilemma with me. Or schedule a consult to get more information about the consulting packages that I do offer on a longer term basis. As always, you can reach out to us with your listener letters and your questions at trillmba.com. Until next time, guys, focus on your best possible outcome. Ask for help when you need it. Please, please, please ask for help. And as always, keep it trill. I'll see y'all next week.